Live, this is News 12 and NBC 26. News at 6 o'clock. On your side.
Military investigators have been looking at the wreckage of an Air National Guard fighter jet that went down in flames after a crash during training.
Now crews are securing the second location of the jet it crashed into miles away. And tonight we're hearing from a man who saw the whole thing.
It was almost directly above me, and next thing you know, I seen this bright flash like an ejection seat, and then the plane started going straight down.
Good evening, I'm Richard Rogers.
And I'm Christy Etheridge. Team coverage into that crash tonight. We're looking into how long that investigation could last.
And we're on your side with a look at the skill level of these two pilots and the experience they brought to the planes last night.
To give you a quick timeline, we know the two F-16s crashed around 9:15 last night during some routine training. Both pilots were able to eject themselves from the jets before they went down. And we know both of those pilots are okay and out of the hospital tonight. It could be some time before we know what actually caused the crash.
This crash happened in Jefferson County in the sky over Louisville around 1 in the morning. A helicopter flying over the area was able to spot the general area where that first jet went down. The crash happened closer to 9, though, last night. Liz Owens is kicking off our team coverage tonight where the search for the two jets is over, but this investigation is really just starting. Liz.
That is right, Richard. Well, the Air National Guard confirms they located the second F-16 around 3 this afternoon off of John Stanley Road here in Louisville. Now, they found the first wreckage about 2 miles away from it very early this morning. The Air National Guard is giving all the credit to Georgia State Patrol for finding both missing military jets in less than 24 hours. Now, behind me, you can see a team is still processing the first crash site, and down the road, there is a team beginning on the second site. GSP saw the first jet early this morning after residents tipped them off to debris in the area. They saw the second crash site from the air this afternoon. Investigators are currently processing both scenes right now, which involve measurements, pictures, and securing hazardous debris.
That's going to continue to happen over the next few days, maybe next few months, as people are out in the woods and stuff. We've got helicopters and Civil Air Patrol aircraft in the air at this time, continuing the search.
But for now, the main search for that second F-16 is over. The Air Force should arrive within the next 2 days. They'll take over this investigation. Typically, an investigation like this takes about 30 days to complete. Now, the military has told us that folks have found some of the debris. They've been picking it up, trying to take it to them. They're warning you not to touch it. Just call local law enforcement. It could hurt you. For now, we're live in Jefferson County. Liz Owens, on your side.
Good information. Thanks a lot, Liz. If you do find debris like she just mentioned, the Air National Guard wants you to call it in and report it. Again, that could be hazardous, so don't pick it up, don't go near it. That number to call it in if you do find some debris is on your screen. That's 803-647-8888. It's also online if you don't have a pen handy right now. They say do not touch anything if you do come across it.
The investigation into the cause of the crash is just beginning, so we don't know the altitude or the speed of these jets when it happened. We do know the seats on the jets do have GPS trackers, but the jets themselves do not have GPS. They do have flight recorders that will hopefully be able to shed some light once they locate them.
One thing that's easy to see, though, there is nothing but wide open spaces in that part of town, and it created the perfect stage for one man to watch the whole thing.
Brent Estes was driving down this road when something bright caught his eye.
I seen a couple fighter jets dogfighting, and you could see the flares, and that's what caught my attention because they shoot those little flares.
So he pulled over to watch. Fighter jets like this one are a common sight in this part of town. Brent says watching them train is like a hobby.
Yeah, at night, especially at night, and it's fun to watch them. They're basically like in a fight in the sky, a simulated fight, like with other jets and all, and they'll buzz each other. They'll stay so close, they'll hit and they'll slide back, and the other one will do the same thing to where they almost hit each other all the time.
He says he could tell this time something was off.
And I knew something wasn't right because you shouldn't be able to see a black strip behind it.
Those two F-16s crashed in Jefferson County. Standing right here, Brent saw the whole thing.
It was almost directly above me, and next thing you know, I seen this bright flash like an ejection seat. And then the plane started going straight down.
It was like an action movie playing out in front of his eyes.
As fast as that plane fell to the ground, whew, I mean, it was just like that. From the time I seen the ejection fly out of the jet all the way to the ground, it probably took less than a second and a half for it to hit the ground.
And even though he was miles away, he heard the impact.
It was just like a big boom thud in a way. and then after that there was just no more sound whatsoever.
Leaving Brent stunned at what he just saw.
Man, it blew my mind. I never in a million years thought I would ever see anything like that.
Brent says after he saw the crash, he called 911 as soon as he saw it, but dispatch didn't believe him at first. Then today, as he watched the search planes scan for debris, he noticed they weren't looking in the right area, so he went to the investigation site to see if he could help.
Now, these jets were bought in the 90s. They are 1993 model F-16 fighter jets. The cost when they're new, $30 to $32 million, and it's not clear yet if they will be replaced.
But it's no doubt the men behind those planes had the experience. Preston Willett is live outside McEntire Joint National Guard Base in Eastover, South Carolina, where those pilots are based. Preston.
Two very skilled, very capable pilots completing a routine that they specialize in, that according to their wing commander here at McEntire. But what made last night's routine so much more difficult was the very low visibility because it was so dark at night. Now that both those pilots are safe, it could be a while before they see the air again. The pilots will have to wait for the results of this investigation before being put back in the air. Both were thought of as excellent pilots with more than 30 years of combined experience. The pilots are even instructors and lieutenant colonels. The routine is a search and destroy mission. They were simulating, and due to low visibility, they were both actually wearing night vision goggles, but both pilots are now at home resting.
A long time. They were both senior aviators, instructors, some of our top instructors, very, very capable and confident air crews. So obviously we'll be looking into a lot of that, but yes, they were excellent.
All of this is part of their last weekend of preparation before being deployed. So while things will be grounded for the rest of tonight, they will resume activities, and a heavy drill weekend coming up this weekend, as it is their last weekend of drills in preparation before they are deployed later this summer to the Pacific.
They don't want to lose any time. Thanks a lot for that update, Preston. And Scott, we checked out the radar at the time of that crash. It says skies were clear.
Yeah, it was clear, so weather was not a factor. I want to switch over to Doppler Max radar and show you the timestamp from about 9:15 last night. This is the satellite and the radar imagery both turned on, and there was nothing in the area of Louisville or all of Jefferson County. There's where the airport is. Again, clear sky, so it would definitely be interesting to find out what the true cause of that accident was last night. And we have a clear sky again on Doppler Max radar. Nothing but sunshine out there. That's helping those temperatures to warm up into the upper 80s right now. 87 degrees at Augusta Regional Airport, and with dry conditions, it's going to cool off as we do head into the overnight pretty well. We have a clear sky in our view along Washington Road there, so definitely a pleasant weather for this evening, and it's definitely for tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be the last day with warm temperatures with low humidity, but that's going to be changing as we head into the weekend. Details coming up. Richard?
Full blue sky out there, Scott. Thanks so much. It is not uncommon for military aircraft to be flying over Jefferson County. Kelly Wiley is live for us near Louisville, where this kind of thing really is a daily thing.
Well, every morning and every night, people in Jefferson County can look up and see a pilot training. Sitting right on top of Jefferson County is one of the biggest and the best air training spaces in the country, and definitely in the southeast. We're talking about 22,000 feet up of airspace and 100 miles wide, give or take, for them to train in. The Marines, the Air Force, all different platforms of F-16, F-15, F-18, A-10 are out here 24/7. It's one of the military's most valuable areas. Every day and every night they are here.
You hear that?
Yeah.
That's quite common. Day or night. Sometimes they fly so low, you wonder, you know, these crop sprayers, crop planes are spraying their crops. I talked with one of the pilots, ag pilots, and he says it's kind of scary when you're down there flying, always you come up and you're looking at one of those in the face there.
The Jefferson County EMA director says they're always on standby to respond, which is a good thing, because last night they say they helped the pilot and then were able to take their cues from the military people. Out here in Jefferson County, Kelly Wiley on your side.
Always good to be ready when you know they're going to be out there. It comes within the same hour of another incident with a plane at the Thompson-McDuffie Airport. McDuffie County deputies say Brandon Cunningham, a student pilot, was practicing landing a plane at night when it bounced off the runway and damaged the nose. Neither Cunningham nor the instructor, Curtis Merriweather, were hurt. The FAA is calling this a hard landing. So very lucky, Richard. We've had 2 crashes in one day, but nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
And that one didn't sustain quite as much damage as the
More
other
of a
2
hard
jets.
landing, but a good outcome for the military. At least they have something to investigate now. Maybe they can learn from the whole thing.
Got lucky in both of those. Neighbors are in shock tonight, wondering how a 2-year-old was able to get his hands on a gun and shoot himself. So we investigate.
And Aiken County writes a big check to a company they use to move bodies to the coroner's office. We'll tell you why. An arrest made after a toddler gets hold of a handgun and accidentally fires it, shooting himself in the stomach.
Now 22-year-old Alexander Etheridge is booked in at the Richmond County Detention Center on charges of reckless conduct. It all happened on Old McDuffie Road near Dublin Drive, and the call came in before 9 o'clock this morning. Alma McCarty on your side with how neighbors are reacting.
They're questioning how a 2-year-old got his hands on a gun to begin with. Witnesses say there was more than one child in the house at the time, but the 2-year-old was rushed out of the house, hurried into the ambulance, and then into surgery. And although there is now a name in this case, there are still questions. Arlene Davis, who lives next door, says the people there moved in only 3 days ago.
I said, well, because there used to be a lot of cars over here, so I didn't know what was going on. But this morning was the first time I ever seen kids. It's too close to home.
Luckily for the little boy, officials say he's recovering from surgery at Augusta University Medical Center and is expected to be okay.
That is very good news in a situation like this that is really scary, and especially, Alma, there were other kids in that home.
Yes, and in this investigation, it's still underway by Richmond County. DFACS also showed up at the home today, and they're involved as well.
Thanks, Alma. Developing tonight, an investigation into a shooting on Atomic Road turns into a drug case. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office still looking for a suspect after a car was run off the road and 2 people were shot yesterday. Tonight, investigators say they found a lot of marijuana in the back of one of those cars they left behind. Aiken County deputies say the suspect in this case is driving a white Crown Victoria like this one. It should have damage on one side.
Aiken County is settling with Rucker Removal Services for work the company did while council worked with another company. The county administrator says the settlement is for $35,000. The company is a transportation service that picks up and transports bodies to the coroner's office. The county official says he was not authorized to pay the company, and the county used the services without paying for them. A man accused of hitting a woman on Hepzibah McBean Road now facing a felony charge accused of leaving the scene of a crash. An arrest warrant says Curtis Matthew Dials hit his wife Christine with his car and then took off. Christine died after that crash. The report says the two are married and have 2 kids together. That crash happened on Monday.
Another dry and sunny day outside. Are we looking at great weather right into the weekend, Scott?
Well, we're looking at great weather unless you consider hotter afternoons not so great. Well, the forecast details on what you can expect coming up.
On your side with your hour-by-hour forecast.
Well, it's been another dry and pretty warm afternoon across the 2-state. Lots of sunshine on Doppler Max radar. Nothing in the way of too much cloud cover. We just had some thin clouds a little earlier, helping to filter out the sunshine just a bit. We have some of that in our view along Grovetown and along I-20 there, filtering that out, but some blue sky in the foreground, so pretty nice afternoon, and as we head into the evening, it's going to be pretty nice as well. 87 degrees is the current temperature at the airport after getting up to 88 degrees a little earlier. Northeasterly breeze at 7 miles an hour is continuing to bring in some dry air, 32% relative humidity, and that's pretty low, especially for this time of year, so it feels pretty good out there as far as our air temperatures. Our heat index temperatures are not excessively high. The warmest spots are around 90 degrees, like in Barnwell, 90 right there, 90 in Louisville, 87 degrees in Gibson. And as we head through the next several days, the moisture will be on the increase, and that's also going to help our actual air temperatures or our heat index temperatures to definitely increase as well. Not too bad. 89 degrees is how it feels at the SRS, 87 degrees, so it feels like the actual air temperature. But as we do head through Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday, we're going to have a lot of warmth come back and a lot of humidity, so that 96 degrees for Sunday afternoon is going to feel oppressively hot, likely near 100 degrees, if not even hotter for some locations. Now, our weather is pretty calm because of high pressure and control of the southeast, pushing away all the cloud cover and a lot of the moisture as well. But down in the tropics, we do have a system that the Hurricane Center is highlighting for some possible development at 10%, and it's located between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula. It's right in here, and eventually over the next 5 days, it will drift to the north and eastward direction over the Florida Peninsula, so it is something that we'll be watching as we do head through the next few days. Hour by hour on Futurecast shows that, well, we're going to keep that high pressure control, not much in the way of cloud cover, but over the next couple of days that will shift a little bit further to the north and a little bit to the east of us, and that's going to promote an onshore flow, so that will increase the moisture off the Atlantic Ocean. So you'll definitely notice that humidity as we get into the weekend, especially on Sunday, with that high temperature in the upper 90s for many spots. Northeasterly winds will continue for tomorrow. Pleasant to start off the day. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures on the mild side. And by lunchtime, we'll start off in the lower 80s for many spots. Some spots might even be in the upper 70s still. And we'll have our high temperatures top out in the mid to upper 80s, but that hotter weather is on the way. 59 degrees for our low temperature for tonight, mostly clear sky, and then for tomorrow afternoon, a lot of sunshine again, but just the upper 80s are expected, and then it'll be through the day on Friday when the 90s are back warming up, and hot temperatures on Saturday and very hot for Sunday afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we will start to see an increase in cloud cover, and we'll also have a few chances for showers or storms later in the week.
Looking like summer. Well, sports is next, and truly there is no football off-season anymore.
Even at the high school level, even in this heat, the 7-on-7 passing leagues are heating up, and several area teams are taking part. For Grovetown, they have a new coach, so there's a little more focus on the happenings on the field for them. Kevin's next with sports.
On your sideline, sports.
It's 7-on-7 passing league season in the area, a chance for coaches to see their kids going against the other teams. One new coach getting a good look, Grovetown's Damian Postel. Besides spring ball in the weight room, this is Postel's first opportunity to see some of those kids squaring off in competition. While starting roles won't be won or lost during these camps, Postel can start installing more of his system. With a new region, this could be Grovetown's year to shine.
But our motto is, why not now? You know, why not now? I mean, it's the season to do, you know, great expectations, great things in the community, great things on the field, and we're excited about what's going on.
Why not, you know, this year, why not this not be our year? And, you know, it's really getting us pumped up, and I'm not really good with the question. I'm kind of demanding it now. I'm kind of saying now, this is it. This is our year, and this is about to happen.
Grovetown will be tested right off the bat when the season does start, taking on Burke County. A lot of respect there from Coach Postel, but his focus nowadays getting his team better so they'll be ready when fall rolls around. Been a busy few weeks for Matt Neesmith, and there's no time off as he's trying to strike while the iron is hot. Last week, he in South Carolina was in the NCAAs. He then made his pro golf debut on the Mackenzie Tour. This week, playing with the big boys on the PGA Tour. The North Augusta product teeing it up at the FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis. Now, a few years ago, Neesmith played in the Wyndham Championship as an amateur, then the U.S. Open last year, but this will be his first time he's eligible to collect the paycheck. He's not alone in making his PGA Tour debut. Now Augusta resident Wesley Bryan as well. He's got 2 wins on the Web.com Tour already and got an exemption into this event as well. For the second time in his career, the Braves have traded Kelly Johnson to the New York Mets. Yes, you heard me right. The second time they dealt him to the Mets. While he wasn't done much this year, just 1 homer and a .215 average, he has shown power in the Brave uniform before. But like just about everyone else in Atlanta, well, they're expendable, and heads to the Mets for pitcher Akil Morris. Morris is a veteran of the minor leagues and will start in Double-A for the Braves. Braves wrapping up their series this afternoon in San Diego. Right now it's the Julio Teheran show, both on the mound and at the plate. Braves haven't won in San Diego in 3+ years. That's 12 straight games. That could change, though, in the next few minutes. Baseball's draft is tomorrow, and while there's not a lot of guys locally who's going to be selected, don't have to go too far to find one who will be an early pick. Mercer's Kyle Lewis going to be among the top picks. Baseball America's Player of the Year, hit .395, 20 homers, 72 runs batted in. That's a college season. He several big league clubs that he's worked out for, including the Braves, and he will hear his name early in the draft. Finally, last night in the Softball World Series, Auburn's Tiffany Howard with this incredible catch, home run saving catch in the 6th inning to keep the Tigers game alive. And to top it off, Auburn won on a walk-off grand slam, but that catch was as good as you'll find at any level. High school, college, major leagues, doesn't matter.
She robbed the batter right there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Crazy.
All right, weather-wise, guys, it's going to be a hot stretch. It's going to be a good one to head out to some baseball games with lots of sunshine, but it's going to be pretty warm, especially as we do head through the weekend. Sunday looks like it's going to be the hottest day of the week ahead, 96 for that high. When you factor in that moisture that will be on the increase, that heat index temperature, yeah, it's going to be more like 100 degrees out there. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the cloud cover will begin to increase a bit along with some of that moisture and even some storm chances. And going beyond the 7-day forecast, looks like we'll get into more of an inclement kind of pattern, which will be a nice change.
Okay.
So hot and dry.
Hot, steamy out there.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to do it for News 12 and NBC 26. Good to have you with us.
Your network news is next, and we're back at News 12:11. We'll see you then.